Japan Makes Me Scared, a podcast to the chilling realm of Japanese horror stories. My name is Junpei, and I will invite you to the mysterious world of Kaidan, exploring spine-tingling experiences that have haunted Japan. Konbanwa minasan. Welcome back to another episode of Japan Makes Me Scared. I'm Junpei, a host, and I'm gonna share various horror, scary stories of Kaidan in this podcast. Question of the day: what was your favorite childhood game? In general, I would say the two most popular ones are tag and hide and seek. Personally, I didn't really like tag. It's a completely physical game, and over the time, kids who are good at some kind of sports, like football or baseball, have a huge advantage. Hide and seek, on the other hand, involves thinking about where to hide, moving stealthily, or making fake noises to trick the person looking for you in the wrong direction. I like that kind of strategic feel of the game much more. However, as is often the case, sometimes I would get so scared that no one would find me that I would come out of my hiding place by myself, saying like, "Hey, I'm over here." You've had this experience too, right? What can I say about that feeling? It was like, did everyone just leave without me? Or am I lost in another world or something? I remember being terrified as a child, even imagining that kind of crazy things like that. But this is not exactly a joke in Japan. We've got a term called kamikakushi, which means being taken away to another world by a spirit. Fear of kamikakushi is a long history, and in the past, when people disappeared from a village, for example, people would say they had kamikakushi. This fear was so deep that until modern times, it was even kind of social taboo to play hide and seek after dusk. Otherwise, you'd be taken away. Actually, that's what my grandma would have said, and it wouldn't have been a joke, but like a serious order. Today's story is about what happens if you play a hide and seek game at midnight, alone. I know you might be thinking like, can it be even a game if you play hide and seek alone? Well, we'll get to that later on as well. Alright, let's move on to the storytelling part. Episode 26, Hitori Kakurenbo. First of all, let me tell you about Hitori Kakurenbo very quickly. Hitori Kakurenbo is one of the Japanese urban legends that, again, originated from Tsuchan, the Japanese message board. Around 2007, detailed instructions on how to play Hitori Kakurenbo were posted on Tsuchan. After that post, several Tsuchan users had actually tried to play the game alone and reported bizarre phenomena there. The series of events attracted much attention and has made Hitori Kakurenbo widely known ever since. As a listener of this podcast, you must be interested in how to play the game, aren't you? Well, let me get you straight to that detailed instructions here then. So, the beginning of the beginning, there are certain things you need to prepare before starting the game. The first item is a stuffed animal toy with arms and legs. So it's going to be like a teddy bear or something similar. Next, you cut open the stuffed animal toy, remove all the cotton and other materials inside, and replace them with raw rice and a part of your body inside. You know, the part of the body doesn't have to be like your finger or any other big sacrifice. Only your cut nails can suffice. Well, you can still choose one of your fingers if you really want to though. Anyway, as a next step, you can sew the ripped parts together with a sewing needle and a thread, the color of which is better to be red. Then you can give some name to the animal toy. You can choose any name by your own name, like Taro or Hanako. Then you go to the bathroom and fill a tub with water. And you should decide where to hide yourself and place a glass of salt water there. I'll explain why later, but the salt water is especially important for the game, so make sure you don't forget that. Now you've done all the advanced preparation, so let's start the game. At 3 AM, say to the stuffed animal toy 3 times that the first Oni is Junpei. By the way, Oni literally means demon in Japanese, but it's just the one to search for others in children's games like regular hide and seek. Also, I said Oni is Junpei here, but you can change the name with your own name when you play it. After that, go to the bathroom and put the stuffed animal toy in a tub of water. And turn off all the lights in the house and only leave the TV on. Then close your eyes and count to 10 seconds, then go back to the bathroom again. Tell the stuffed animal toy in the bathtub, I have found you, and stab it with a knife. At the end, say to the stuffed animal again, next time, if you turn as Oni. As soon as you have finished saying this, hide yourself in a place of your choice with the salt water. Then the game starts. It is said that you must always finish playing Hitori Kakurenbo within 2 hours after starting. Let me also share how to end the game here as well. Take half of the salt water in your mouth, which is prepared in the cup, then go out of your hiding place and find a stuffed animal toy in the house. When you find a stuffed animal toy, pour the salt water left in the cup over it, and then also spit the salt water from your mouth to it. Then say, I win 3 times the toy, and then the game of Hitori Kakurenbo is over. You should also burn and dispose of a stuffed animal toy at the end. The game sounds simple, doesn't it? And you might be thinking like, well, all these preparations and the process are a bit creepy, but was it scary that much? Of course, as I said at the beginning of the story, a lot of bizarre phenomena have been reported by those playing Hitori Kakurenbo. It varies from person to person, but here are some examples. The most common one is the disappearance of a stuffed animal toy. You leave it in the bathtub, then it should be staying there until then, isn't it? But it often disappears, and possibly looking for you as Oni. There are also some supernatural experiences, like hearing voices or weird rapping noises, like poltergeist. Others suffer from physical problems, like feeling sick or ringing in ears, and some severe pain without injury. Some people are seeing things like ghosts or spirits, even though they didn't usually have this kind of power before. When the story was posted on Tuchan in 2007 for the first time, one player forgot the saltwater and couldn't end the game quickly. Then he experienced those scary things while hiding. See, the saltwater is needed to end the game. That's why I told you earlier not to forget that. Also, there is one more thing to keep in mind. You should be home alone when playing Hitori Kakurenbo. Otherwise, your housemate or family can be hurt unintentionally by... you know what might be now. Anyway, that's all about how you play Hitori Kakurenbo. As the story attracted much attention, there's been a lot of discussion about the meaning and origins of this Hitori Kakurenbo game since the first post. I will share some of the most notable theories here. The first theory is that Hitori Kakurenbo is kind of a necromancy thing. Maybe you already felt that. The steps of the game are like the ones for some rituals, and some people say it is a ritual to invoke the spirits of the dead. Actually, the first post on Tuchan also mentioned this way, so this could be its strong origin. In this theory, the stuffed animal toy is considered to be a substitute for the body of the ghost to possess. Rice is a substitute for the flesh, and acts such as stuffing the doll with rice, putting parts of the performer's own body into it, or giving it a name, or have the meaning of bringing stuffed toy closer to human beings so that it can be more easily possessed. In that sense, the red thread used to stitch the stuffed toy is also said to represent blood vessels, which can add humanness to the toy. There are some other things like having the toy sunk in water to help ghosts become active through the medium of water, and turning on the TV to open a gateway to the spirit world, something like that. Finally, the reason we use salt water is because salt is believed to have the power to ward off evil spirits. So it is used for the performer's protection when taken into the mouth while hiding, and to drive spirits away from the door by spitting it on. The second theory is Hitori Kakurenbo is a method for cursing yourself, the performer. This theory has been pointed out on Tuchan in early stage as well. That is because the use of the doll is quite similar to Ushi no Tokimairi. Ushi no Tokimairi is a ritual in which people go to a shrine in the middle of the night and curse somebody by nailing wara ninkyo, a straw doll, to a tree. I featured this in episode 24, so you can check it out if you haven't yet. In Ushi no Tokimairi, the doll is like an alter ego of the cursed target. That is to say, the same applies to Hitori Kakurenbo. As with the previous theory, let's look at the interpretations of each item used and the steps involved based on this theory. First, the stuffed animal toy. This is considered to be an alter ego, or some kind of lookalike of the one attempting to carry out the curse. Placing a part of the performer's body inside the doll is to clarify the object of the curse. So in this case, you. Stabbing with a knife may be one process to curse the object by damaging its regard. When it comes to the ritual procedure, the no housemates one playing rule is basically because the spell loses its effect if somebody sees you performing the curse, which is another similarity to Ushi no Tokimairi. And in the end, the banning of the door is set to dispose of a medium of the curse, thereby making it more difficult to break the curse later. Previous two theories are more like something frightening actually happening in Hitori Kakurenbo, but this third theory suggests that it is all in the mind or one's imagination. This is a bit tricky theory, but could be my favorite one in a way. Have you heard of group hysteria? This is a term for the event of one person panic infecting the group. In Tuchan, several people sometimes played Hitori Kakurenbo at the same time while online. So the theory is basically saying, when one of the players said he or she had experienced a strange phenomenon, the other participants also panicked as well. Plus, the game's players are placed in a mentally exhausting environment. Can you imagine that you have to hide in kind of a small dark place for like 2 hours? Also, most of the players have already had a pre-notion that something bizarre would happen, like you're listening to this podcast episode now. With that being said, this environment could even make small noises and light from outside more pronounced, which you don't even usually care about. Anyway, believe it or not, there are a lot of scary things reported from those who played Hitori Kakurenbo. So do not take playing the game lightly, otherwise, you know what would be coming after you. Oshimai. Thank you very much for listening to the story. How did you like it? If you've been listening to this podcast for some time, you agree that Japanese creepypastas are often told on 2chan, the Japanese message board website. And I feature several 2chan urban legends on this podcast in some previous episodes, such as Hashaku-sama, Agaribito, Monkey Dream. But the thing is, many of the 2chan urban legends are told in the format of one user sharing his experience from his point of view. In that sense, Hitori Kakurenbo is slightly different in that the gameplay was being kind of broadcast live on 2chan. We actually play Hitori Kakurenbo with some others at 3 AM while exchanging messages with them online. And that alone is unusual, but you might also have a feeling that you're performing kind of cursing ritual. And on top of that, what if some supernatural phenomenon strikes you? I can't help but feel fear just by imagining that. Anyway, do you have any thoughts on this story? I've got a Discord channel where anybody can join and share thoughts and theories. Of course, I'll be there as well. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, so please join and enjoy the interaction if you would. Also, I've got my own website, japanmakesmescared.com, where you can find transcription of the story, more detailed information about the episode topic that I couldn't get to in the podcast, and more visual images related to the episode as well. To reach my website, you can simply type Japan Makes Me Scared in your browser or check the link in the description. Just one more thing. This podcast, Japan Makes Me Scared, is available on almost all popular podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or Amazon Music. Also, if you push the follow button on the app of your choice, First of all, for me, it will be a huge support and motivation. And for you, you will not miss notifications for future episodes. So please consider following my podcast as well. Alright, we're getting close to the end. So let me say one thing. Arigatou gozaimasu again for listening to my podcast. Japan makes me scared. And sayonara for more children thrills next time. Bye.